Austin is now the #1 buyer's market in the country, at least according to a report from Redfin based on the number of closed sales and what's actually on the market right now. So, what does this mean for you if you're looking to make a move in Austin? It means there's tons of homes for sale, houses are taking longer to sell, and you have more negotiating power than we've seen in years. So, in this Market Minute, I'm going to show you how you can use those circumstances to your advantage and also answer the big question: should you buy now or should you wait until the spring of 2026? So let's dive into what the data is actually showing us from the Austin Board of Realtors. These are the stats from September. They're always a month or so behind where we are, but according to the latest data for Travis County, the median sales price fell to $485,000. So it's about 3.5% lower than last year. And if you look at month over month, you can see that there was a big dip in the prices. They were kind of flat most of the year, and then they dipped pretty drastically from August to September. Now, I'm going to tell you, that does not mean that the market's crashing and that prices are going to go way, way down. What we're seeing is normal seasonality. Every year, the prices go up a little bit in the spring. That's when most families are moving, especially if they have children. They're trying to time it with the end of the school year. So we usually hit the peak of the market around May or June. And then once school starts in August and we enter in holiday months, then prices in the market usually slows down a bit. Now, if we back up a little bit and look at where we've come from, this is since 2020. Austin has been at the top of the market in the US, whether it was the hottest market in America. We actually got voted that back in 2021. You can see our prices shot up through the roof from 2020 to 2022. And then when rates doubled and they went from about 3.5% up to 7%, we had a massive price correction. So our prices actually came down anywhere from 15 to maybe 25%. It kind of varies across the city in which neighborhood area you're in. But our prices have come down, and since rates have been fairly stable, they're still kind of hovering between 6 and 7. Our prices have stabilized as well. Now, something I want to point out is that we do have a lot of inventory. It says there's about 6 months of inventory, but I'm going to tell you that number is probably higher because there's so much new construction out there, and most builders don't list all of their available homes, the quick move-in homes, or even the vacant land that you can go and pick a lot to build on. None of that gets listed onto the MLS, which is what realtors use for their data. So this number is much higher. That means there's more and more opportunities if you're also willing to explore the new construction route. And if we look at negotiating power, this is huge. It shows that on average, homes were selling at 91% of the list price. So in essence, you can get about 9% off a home on average. Now, I do want to warn you, sometimes a client might see a house and they're like, okay, it looks like a really good deal. Let's get 9% off or 10% off. But sometimes the owner or the builder has already slashed the price. So maybe they started up at $1 million and now they're realizing, okay, it's not selling. So they might have cut it to $950, $925, $900. At some point, the house might be a really good deal and you end up paying a little bit close to asking price. So each situation's a little bit different, but that's still a huge amount of savings. If you look at that's an average. So some people get more, a little bit less. 9% is a big deal. Homes are taking longer to sell right now. The average was 77 days on market. What's so great about this is that if you're out buying and maybe relocating from another city, you can kind of slow down and breathe a little bit. You can actually go back and tour a house a second time or a third time, go back and think about it, maybe come visit the neighborhood again on the weekend, make sure you love it. Instead of back where we were in 2021, where homes were just moving quickly and people barely had time to breathe or think before they were pressured into making an offer. I love this market right now because it just feels like a good flow. There's lots of selection and our buyers are getting incredible deals right now. Now, if you need to sell a home in Austin before you buy, don't get discouraged, because even though, yes, it's a tougher market, it's easier right now to be a buyer than it is to sell a house. You can still sell your home. You just have to be very realistic in your pricing, especially if you're competing against new builds. You have to come in a lot lower or offer some incentives, closing costs, and things to kind of sweeten the deal. And also, if you are selling, maybe you're not going to get the high price you hoped for, but you can kind of look at it as a wash, because you're not going to get as much when you sell your house right now. But when you turn around and buy another home in Austin, you can use that to your advantage and get some savings back there. So what do we expect to happen in 2026, and does it make sense for you to wait? Well, I wish I could predict the future perfectly, but all I can tell you is what we are seeing from behind, kind of where the history's been. So if you remember that graph where we saw the prices go up, they came down, it's been flat really. There hasn't been a lot of appreciation. What we're seeing is just homes go up in the spring, they come down in the fall. It's all controlled by interest rates, and that's affecting supply and demand. So if interest rates continue to drop a little bit more, then more buyers will be able to afford houses, and there will be more demand than supply. So prices eventually will start going back up again, but I don't predict anything crazy happening like we saw in 2021, 2022. That was caused by a whole bunch of different circumstances that are not here at all right now. Now, a big reason a lot of people tell me they're going to wait is because of interest rates. They've seen them come down a little bit this year, and they're just hoping they're going to keep dropping. But what a lot of people don't know, and I'm going to tell you the biggest secret, is that if you're willing to shop new construction, the builders are already giving low rates. So believe it or not, we got 2 clients recently under contract with a 3.99% interest rate, which is crazy. That's like going all the way back to 2021. We've also seen people get 4.5%. I would say more commonly, a lot of builders are doing 4.99%. But if you're a cash buyer and you're like, I don't worry about the interest rate, then you can ask the builder to take the cost of buying down the rate and try to knock it off your price, or pay for closing costs, or give you more upgrades. So the builders are really throwing everything at you right now to try to get you to buy their inventory. So it's price cuts, low rates, closing costs, and maybe upgraded appliance packages and things like that. I feel like in this market, just ask, and there's no harm, because you might be surprised at the deal you could actually get. I will also tell you, we're getting very close to the end of the year. It's already November, but if you can go under contract on a new construction home in November, maybe the first week of December, you will still get some of the best savings, because so many builders just want to clean out the inventory, all those move-in ready homes. They don't want them to be listed in January. So they're really trying to hit their goals for the end of the fiscal year, and shopping in the late fall, winter months is usually to your advantage, because remember, that's when our prices are typically at the lowest. Now in the spring in 2026, we will expect that prices will rise up in the spring like they normally do. If interest rates come down at all, it will just mean that houses will start moving a little faster, because more people will be able to afford them. So I can't tell you how much in the long run will it go up or down, but I do just expect a normal spring market where prices rise and then they kind of dip in the late fall months. Now, ultimately, whether you should buy now depends on a lot of other timing and different circumstances. If you need your kids to finish a school year, or if you're waiting for a job transfer, sometimes you can't buy right now and it will be in the spring. So don't distress about timing the market perfectly. It's really impossible to do that. What I focus on is time in the market. So a question I always ask people is, how long do you plan on being in this house? If you're someone that's kind of up in the air, you're only planning on staying there 2 or 3 years, it's honestly really risky to buy a new home, especially in a new construction neighborhood. It takes longer to appreciate. But if you're planning on staying put in an area for at least 4 or 5 years or more, then it's probably a safer investment. Real estate is always safe when it's a long-term hold. So time in the market is always better than timing it. If you know you have a job you love that's stable, you don't see your family picking up and moving right away, then definitely let's find you a house sooner than later. Now, of course, every circumstance is different. So if you want to talk one-on-one about your situation, your timeline, and what options you have, just click the link in my caption. You can book a 15-minute discovery phone call with me and we'll help answer all your questions. And second, if you want to know more about which builders are offering fantastic deals, you can sign up for our Builder Deal of the Week email. It's something we send out once a week and we'll tell you who's offering some incredible savings, some clearance off their inventory homes, so that way you know where the best deals are at. And finally, if you like this information and found it helpful, make sure you subscribe to my channel. We will be dropping regular market updates and neighborhood tours of the best areas out in the Hill Country. See you in the next one.